Podcast, Global Economic Competition for Africa. Where is Canada? With Mr. Alexis Leclerc, CEO of LECLERC Consulting. Hello, Mr. Leclerc.
Hello.
Convinced that Africa remains the continent of opportunities, China and the United States are racing against time to position themselves. What do you think?
Indeed. In 20 years, China has become a leading player in Africa. Every 3 years, it organizes China-Africa economic summits with African leaders, and it invests massively in infrastructure and mining. In the first 5 months of 2023, the total import and export volume between China and Africa reached 114 billion. Also, it welcomes tens of thousands of African students every year, a way to train and influence the future elites of this continent. The United States is not left out. The head of American diplomacy, Mr. Antony Blinken, while in Nigeria, conveying the message that the United States takes the African continent and its people very seriously and promised a revival and repatriation with African leaders. No sooner said than done. In December 2022, the second United States-Africa Summit was held in Washington. At the same time, the former colonial powers of France and Great Britain are trying to maintain their domination. India, Brazil, Turkey, Germany, Russia, South Korea, and Japan have also entered the race and are offering different types of investment as well as cooperation offers. All these countries see the potential offered by the African continent market by the rapid growth of its large middle class, by an increasingly educated population, by its abundant natural resources.
What about Canada?
Canada's intimate relationship with the African continent dates back to the early 20th century. For decades, it has helped many African countries to build educational centers like colleges and universities, roads and work of art. They dig wells and mine, and also maintaining the peace. Until the early 20s, Canadian representation was very present and radiated in Africa. Then around 2010, the Canadian presence slowly eroded on the African continent. One of the explanations is that given its geographical position, Canada preferred to promote the development of its relationship with Latin American and the Indo-Pacific region. This situation has had profound diplomatic and economic repercussions with the African continent. Today, Canada's economy presence in Africa is essentially limited to the mining, oil and gas exploration and extraction sector.
Is there still potential for Canada?
Following a recently published IMAR opinion survey, a CM barometers of opinion leaders in Africa conducted by IMAR for 20 African countries comprising nearly 60% of the population of the continent, Canada ranks third behind the United States and Germany as the non-African country with the best image. When asked which are the most beneficial foreign partners for the continent, Canada comes second after Germany. We can see that there is still a great deal of sympathy for Canada and its expertise. I believe Canada must quickly get to work to restore its long and deep relationship with the African continent. It must quickly reaffirm its commitment by renewing direct and regular contact with African leaders, reopening embassies, and increasing regular meetings between leaders.
We're coming to the end of our interview. Would you like to add a final word?
Yes, I would say the diversification of the African economy and the growth of its middle class require massive investment in several areas, including infrastructure, information and communication technologies, energy, agri-food and transportation. Canada has the means, the expertise and the know-how to support Africa. On February 10, in the heart of the Senate of Canada, the Senator of Canada of Cameroon origin, the Honorable Amina Gerba, called for the awakening of Canada-African relationship full of potential. Saying this, I realized the dreams that Canada would sign a free trade agreement with the LECLERC African Free Trade Area and put its signature on the inclusion of Africa in the modern economy on the same basis as other major economic regions of the world. Like many Canadians, she is convinced of the long-standing ties and the enormous potential between Canada and this essential continent that is Africa. Canada has a past there and could have a very bright future.
Thank you for your time today. Could you remind us how to find you on social networks?
Yes, you can find us on the Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram platform, and on our website, www.leclercconsulting.com. And I remind you that the experts of LECLERC Consulting Group are available at all times to accompany you or advise you on your project and your organizational strategies. Thank you.
Thank you.